המקום ירחם עליהם ויוצא מצרה לרווחה מאפלה לאורה ומשעבוד לגאולה השתה בעגלה וזמן קריב ונאמר
wireless back. I don't use my phone anymore because I have wireless back in the school.
Okay, evening everyone. So we've been saying a lot of Tehillim at the moment, where it seems that we're going to need those Tehillim for quite a while still. So I thought that it'd be worthwhile during the slot maybe to study a little bit some of the Tehillim that we're saying, understand some of the words, what is really behind it, what's behind this idea of Tehillim. The Midrash says, it says, Kol Shama David B'Sifro, Sefer Tehillim, we know was written by, Gemara tells us there were at least 10 authors of Tehillim, but the majority were composed by David HaMelech. And it says everything that was written by David in his book, meaning Tehillim, says Kenegdo, Keneged Kol Yisrael, Ukeneged Kol Ha'etim Amaru. Meaning he said it, he wrote what he wrote corresponding to him about his personal circumstances. It's also relevant not just to him, but to all of Am Yisrael, and to all of Am Yisrael in all generations. I think we feel this. I think we see this. You know, you open up Sefer Tehillim, you get to the right perek at the right time, and going through this book, it contains the whole gamut of human emotions. We have prayer, we have plea, we have thanksgiving, we have praise, we have celebration, we have complaint, we have questioning. You have everything. Everything is there, and it speaks to us. It speaks to every part of the human condition. It speaks to every situation that could be. Obviously, not every mizmor talks to every situation. You have to find the right ones. But I think that's really the power and the depth of when we say Tehillim. You know, is it just some people may think of it as you saying these words, you say as many, some sort of magical incantation. There may be a mystical component to the idea of saying Tehillim, but the true depth and the true power of it is one reads the words, says the words, connects to the emotions that are being expressed by David HaMelech, by those who wrote it, and using that as a tool for us to express those same emotions and really reaching a level of heartfelt prayer that we may not be able to otherwise, and that is where the true power lies. So maybe let's look a little bit at one of the prakim, which we've been saying a lot, Tehillim Kuf Kaf Aleph. And just when you read through, you look at Tehillim was written as poetry. And we don't have necessarily the punctuation and the space. We have certain things. If you look in the Torah, for example, we have Shirah, we have Ha'azinu, we have Shirat Hayam, which is written as poetry. It appears in the Torah, in the columns, as poetry. Yeah, Tehillim, we just have the words. But we stop and we look and we try and break it up and try and read it and feel the rhythm of the words, what's being expressed. We can come out with a much deeper, much greater understanding. So this Kuf Kaf Aleph is the first of the 15 Shir HaMa'alot. Right? This one is obviously different because it starts off Shir LaMa'alot, which is unusual. That's the opening, that's the introduction. Again, it's not clear what are these Ma'alot specifically referring to. There are different ideas amongst the Mefarshim. Some say that it's related to the Ma'alot, literally the steps coming up to the Beit HaMikdash. There are those, in fact, the Radak has a very interesting approach on this. He says all of these 15 Mizmorim, Shir HaMa'alot, are referring to, connected to the Galut and connected to coming back from the Galut. And it says the Ma'alot, that it's going up, it's the stages of going up, coming up from the Galut. To look at it that way is going to be a little bit difficult with this Mizmor, because, as I said, you go through Tehillim, some of the prakim are more individual, some of them are more maybe national. If we're talking about, Galut and Geulah, so for example, we have Shir HaMa'alot Hayinu Kechomim, talking about national redemption. You have Al Narot Bavel, which also talks about a national thing. You have some prakim which are very, very personal. Just Shir HaMa'alot Esa Enai Ne'alim Ma'ayin Yavo Ezli, written in the singular. So it seems to be the Paitan is talking about a singular, a personal problem, trouble that it was. But we don't know. This Mizmor is very mysterious. We don't know what it's referring to. We don't know who it's referring to. There are some Mizmorim that it's very, very clear and it's very obvious. If you look, for example, in Mizmor Gimel, right at the beginning of Sefer Tehillim, how does Mizmor Gimel open up? Mizmor LeDavid, Bevacho Mipnei Avshalom Beno. Mizmor, which David wrote when he was running away from his son. That's clear, that's obvious. who it was. The heading tells us this was David. He's running away from Absalom. This is what the Mizmor is talking about. Kuf Mem Bet, for example, where it's Maskila David. It's another one which is often recited in times of trouble. We haven't been saying it here, but Kuf Mem Bet is another one which is often recited in times like this. Maskila David Bioto B'Me'alat Tfilah. Right, again, Maskil is more what all these words mean. But there David is saying where he is in the cave, and he's in the cave, he's hiding, he's davening. We know who it is, we know where it's written, we know what circumstance it's referring to. It's not clear, it's a mystery. I'll raise my eyes to the mountains. Where is my help going to come from? Who's going to help me? What's going to help me? Clearly, it's a call out of distress. What is the distress? What has caused it? We don't know. It's not clear, but there is something that's going on. Interesting. This Mizmor, if you read through, it very much seems to be that there are pairs. The pairs of the psukim. If you look at them, each time each couple goes together. So you have Shir Malot Esayna Le'alim Ma'ayni Avoizri. Where will my help come from? And the words repeat: Ezli Meim Hashem Oseh Shamayim Va'aretz. Okay, that one corresponds to the next one. Next. So this is something which is very unusual in this Mizmor. I've never thought about it before. It happens in a few places, but it's not so common, which is that there seems to be more than one person talking. If you go through it goes from first person to third person, it changes. The beginning of the Mizmor is the person is in distress, right? I raise up my eyes. Where will my help come from? My help will come from Hashem. Okay, it's talking in first person. Now all of a sudden, so somebody is answering back. So I question, who are the two people that are talking? Why does the Mizmor have two people talking to one another? Do they agree with each other? Are they arguing with one another? Is there something that's coming to add? The next pasuk says, so again, your shomer, your God will not sleep. The answer comes back, the same words. Yes. Hine, the word is yeah, yes, behold, achen, you might say. So it seems to be that's the first, but we're going back. The first person is answering back. I'm in distress. I don't know what to do. What's going to come from? Somebody comes and comforts them, says, don't worry, Hashem will protect you, won't let you stumble. He doesn't sleep. He says, yes, he doesn't sleep. Okay. Now we get to the next pasuk. Seems to switch back again. We're going back to the other person talking. He says, Hashem shomlecha, Hashem tzilcha al yad yaminecha, yomam hashemesh lo yakeka ve'ereach balayla. Again, this is all in third person. Again, we say these words very, very often. So to think about the, again, what's behind it. Hashem yishmocha mikolai yishmor nafshecha, Hashem yishmor tzedcha uvayecha me'ata ve'adolam. So it turns out, I'll go through most of the Mizmor is actually the second person talking. The second person talking back to the first person is calling out, I am in distress, I'm in trouble. Again, what's the distress? What's the trouble? We don't know necessarily. And there is comfort coming, there is a chizuk coming, there's a strengthening coming from the other person. So if we look carefully, we'll notice as well, there are a few changes. In other words, the first person who speaks, again, it begins with this desperate plea. Already by the second pasuk, there's an answer. The first pasuk is, Ma'ayni avo ezri, I am hopeless, I am lost, there's nothing. Then he says, Ezri me'im Hashem. Very, very quickly, he says, okay, I'm not lost, I have Hashem. Why? All of a sudden, what happened, what changed? But now comes the comfort from the other person, and notice that there is a change. Until this point, he's spoken about Ezri. Ezri, which means my help. I guess we translate in English. From Pasuk Gimel, it doesn't use that word anymore. It changes, it uses a different word, which is shomrecha. It began with Ezer, began with help, and in turn changes into Shomer, into a God. Seemingly, what is the difference between Ezer and Shomer? Shomer seems to be more encompassing, more powerful, giving me complete protection. Ezri can help me maybe with one thing, with something smaller. Shomer is more all-encompassing, more greater protection. The other thing as well, and this is probably the theme of what's going on, this is the crux of the argument or the discussion between the two speakers in this Mizmor, is this. And it's very personal. The first person speaking is only talking about me and my situation and what's going to happen, and Hashem will protect me. But then he comes back and he says, Shomer Yisrael, meaning it's not just about you, it's about Shomer Yisrael, that it turns from Ezer to Shomer, and it turns from just maybe one person to completely all-encompassing. There's a complete protection here. There's a complete hashkacha, and that's maybe the point of the Mizmor, is to increase in that emunah, to start off saying, we begin absolute desperate plea. I don't know who there is. I don't know who can help me. And if Hashem can help me, then maybe Hashem can help me. But he can help me a little bit, but only me, but not. Comes the conclusion. Actually, no, he's here. He's not just an Ozer, but he's a Shomer for everybody, over all of Am Yisrael, has that complete level of protection. That's maybe part of the conclusion that comes out of this. וחנניה בן הקש אומר אצל הקדוש ברוך הוא לזכות את ישראל לפיכך בא להם תורה ומצוות שנאמר אדוני חפץ למען צדקו יגדיל תורה וידע.